Hey everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing another speed build. Today we are building a spa in the beautiful world of Windenburg, right on the island. So this spa is a little weird, and I'm going to be using this video actually to discuss a very important issue near and dear to my heart in life. As some of you may know, I work in substance abuse services. I work at a rehab for people struggling with substance abuse, drug addiction or alcoholism, and there's so many other things. But where I work, so I don't drive, and I get picked up by a lot of Ubers, and they often will ask me if they're picking me up like at a spa or something, because the outside of our building is very nice. So the shell of this is inspired by where I work, and the lobby, it's very heavily inspired by the lobby where I work. And kind of like the shape, it's mostly the front, definitely kind of has that vibes. And we don't have rehabs in The Sims 4, which on one hand I do love, because if it were up to me, substance abuse just wouldn't exist. And I definitely personally play The Sims to escape things like that, because I see it every day at work, and it's definitely, I don't want to say it's not rewarding work, but it's definitely very hard. It's not easy, sadly. So what I decided was I'm going to use this video to kind of talk about what this month is. So this month, the month of September, is National Recovery Month, and that's referring to people struggling with substance abuse. And Recovery Month is supposed to celebrate those who have gone through treatment, whether it be mental health treatment or substance abuse services, and is now kind of living life soberly. The way it's described on health.gov, it says, what is the concept of recovery? It's a way of living a satisfying, hopeful, and contributing life within the limitations of caused by illness. Recovery involves developing a new meaning and purpose in one's life and grows beyond the catastrophic effects of mental health. I'm just going to say this out there right now so we just get out of the way. Yes, substance abuse, alcoholism, drug addiction, those are mental health issues. I know it's very edgy to go on Facebook now these days and tell people you don't believe it is, but the leading science does support the mental health model of treating and looking at substance abuse and understanding the effects of mental health, and it's the way it plays into substance abuse. I hear a lot of people say, oh, it's not a mental health thing because, or it's not a mental illness because, they choose to use. And I think that just really misses the key factors of what leads people to use substances, what causes people to develop dependencies versus people who use drugs and don't develop dependencies. It's a lot more complicated than just saying that you don't believe in it. So I definitely want to use this video to just kind of talk a little bit about that and my experiences working in substance abuse, because as you guys know, I went to college for something very different. I have a degree in fine art painting and history of art. Yeah, it's very different. And I'm so very lucky. I am so lucky where I work that I actually get to also do kind of like an art group with the patients. It's not art therapy. It's called therapy, art in therapy, because you're in inpatient treatment. And I come and I do some just fun activities with the patients. It's mostly just to give them a break from the constant kind of hard work of recovery. There's a term in recovery that we use a lot, and that is recovery burnout. It's when you are so focused on your recovery and getting better that you actually don't take any time to relax, or any mental health kind of like breaks for yourself, and you end up burning yourself out. And people who burn themselves out, well, in recovery, and you like get that recovery burnout feel, or do tend to be at a higher risk of relapse. So it's very important to, even though, going through recovery and going through the motions, going to like the meetings, whether it be AA or NA or Smart Recovery, whatever your cup of tea is, while it's important to do all of those things, it's very important to take time for yourself and to be able to relax and be with yourself. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to do here, because, we don't have rehabs in The Sims 4. So I was like, I'll make one at the spa, kind of as a joke, because people are constantly asking like, oh, do you work at a spa? What is this place? And when patients come in, because our front lobby in our whole facility, it's very nice. I'm not going to name where I work just for my own personal privacy, but later in this video, I will talk about resources you can go to if you are struggling with substance abuse. So, like I said, we have a pretty nice facility where I work. I really love my job. It's not what I thought I would be doing, and it's not what I see myself doing for the rest of my life, but I've learned so much from my time there, and it's just been truly a learning experience. So I truly would not trade this time for the world. And I'm not always happy at my job. I have some issues with my job, but for the most part, I do love it. So I really just wanted to recreate it, because also I was sitting there one day and I was like, oh my God, I could definitely recreate the lobby, because I sit in the front lobby all day. I'm like, I could recreate this like tile for tile, and I don't do it completely perfectly here, but I definitely get the feeling and the essence of it. But yeah, for those of you who are looking for services or know somebody who is suffering, what I'm going to do for those living in the United States, I'm going to link down below the links for SAMHSA, and that stands for the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration. And they have a national helpline. Their national helpline is open 24/7, 365 days a year. I think, so you can call whenever, someone will answer. The only languages available for it are in English and Spanish, so I do apologize if you're living in the US and don't speak one of those languages fluently, or would prefer to speak another language. I do apologize. And this service it's a confidential service protected by like HIPAA and whatnot. And what they will do is they will help you if you're looking for treatment. They will help you with that. So this is on their little website under their frequently asked questions. There's a what is SAMHSA's national helpline, and it says SAMHSA's national helpline, also known as the treatment referral routing service, is a confidential, free, 24 hours a day, 365 day a year information service for individuals and family members facing mental and or substance abuse use disorders. This service provides referrals to local treatment centers, support groups, and community-based organizations. So if you need help getting into a facility, if you need help maybe finding some kind of, if you just move, you need help finding like a local AA chapter or NA chapter, what have you, you can call this line and they will do their best to assist you. So I'm really hoping if there is anyone watching this video who thinks that they might benefit, or someone they love might benefit from this, I definitely recommend at least just checking them out, just calling. It can't hurt just to, just to check in. And substance abuse services, I think there's so many stigmas, or so much stigma around it. I'm just gonna say anyone from any walk of life can, struggle with substance abuse services where I work. Since we're a little bit more luxury, I guess you could say, we're not technically a luxury treatment center, but we definitely we're not a state hospital. So for the most part, we do generally help people who are not and it's sad, we don't usually help people who, because of just how insurance works, we don't really get to help a lot of people maybe on like state insurance, sadly. But from what I've worked there, what I've learned is pretty much anyone from any walk of life, people who are living on the streets, having to engage in sex work to be able to pay for their fix, from people who, are CEOs of companies, people who are like, very successful lawyers, like pretty much almost anyone from any walk of life can, fall victim to substance abuse and or substance abuse disorder. And, part of the reason for that is part of it can be based on, there's like a biological aspect, some people are just more predisposed to it. There's also just like the general mental health, like if you've gone through a lot of trauma that you haven't had the ability to work through, like with therapy or whatever, you're probably going to hold on to that and not really be able to process it healthily. And we find a lot of our patients, they, not all of them, but there's a good amount that do come in here with like lots of trauma, which is really sad, because some of these people, you can tell, like if they had just gotten like the services that they needed when they were younger, because of whatever mental health crisis they went through earlier in life, you could tell like that this kind of situation could have been easily avoided. And I know, it's just so sad. And it's one of those things where working in this field is very, very upsetting. It's not easy. And like I said, I did not go to school for it, so I don't plan on being in it forever. But I don't regret my time. So, but yeah, anyone from any walk of life, and I have many family members of my own life who actually have struggled with substance abuse issues, and have gone to rehab, are recovering addicts. So, it is an issue that is, kind of near and dear to my heart, and not just because I work with it. And I also have lots of friends who struggle. So it's definitely, I've seen just about everyone from any walk of life. So you never have to feel ashamed if you're worried that of how it may make you look. I'm not gonna lie, there are some pretty bad, nasty stereotypes out there, and it's so sad. And it's just so upsetting that even in 2020, there's just so much negativity around it. So, and I do feel like a little silly building a spa based off of where I work, because, what does that really do? But, I was hoping to really use this to help advocate for people, to if you think you would benefit from substance abuse services, or someone hopefully, this video finds you and you go for it. Like I said, I'm going to link down below the SAMHSA website, and as well as just to remind everyone, this is Addiction Recovery Month. So maybe later down this month, I might do some other things. I'll even put the link down for the National Recovery Month, website. There's just so much. And if I can find any other resources, maybe for Canada and maybe European nations, I'll try to put that down below as well. And even for the US, some other ones other than, maybe SAMHSA, I really just want to get some resources down there for everyone, because, there might be reasons you don't want to use a certain program or whatever. And I'm not going to, bully you into using, calling SAMHSA if you don't want to. But if you're looking to get help, just know that there are services out there, and there are people out there who will help you. And one of the best things I will say about substance abuse service working in it is a lot of my colleagues, a large majority of them actually, have actually gone through substance abuse issues themselves and have been through rehab and what have you. So I find in most cases there seems to be a large population in any facility, a large population of people who work there who have been through recovery themselves. So there's definitely a huge community out there for you. And if you are a family member of, have a loved one, I'll even try to put some services down there for family members, because very often family members also get forgotten about. It's difficult. It's difficult being a family member because, like I said, there aren't really a lot of services out there specifically for families. And also, with all things like HIPAA, the Health Insurance Portability Accountability Act, and some other confidentiality laws, it can be really annoying to try to have a loved one in recovery and try to, be supportive and be there for them while also, having to navigate all of these laws and whatnot. I also am gonna link down below a book, like a list, I think like an Amazon link to a book. You don't have to buy it on Amazon, but it's called If You Love Me. It's the story of a mother and how her daughter went through addiction, and how it affected her and the whole family. It's a really great read. It's very powerful. It's very sad, and I read it earlier this year. If you follow me, I don't know if any of you follow me on Goodreads. Hopefully you don't. But if any of you follow me on Goodreads, I read it earlier this year, and it was such a powerful book. So sad, and it's for anyone who's a family member of someone struggling with substance abuse. It might be nice to read just because it might be nice to just see how much you're not alone out there. So hopefully that brings you some joy, to be able to go down and read that, if you want to read that book, or not even joy, but it brings you comfort. In that book it's also just well written. So hopefully, some of these things I'm putting down there can be helpful to someone out there. Down in the comments, you don't have to necessarily talk about your relationship with substance abuse. If you don't feel comfortable, if you want to, feel free to. My comments are definitely open for that. I will happily accept you and your story. And if I see anyone putting anything negative towards you or anyone else, or just saying anything negative in general about substance abuse services and people struggling with addiction, I will be deleting those comments. I'm sorry, I don't care if you get upset and say I'm squashing your freedom of speech or whatever. I don't know. Go get your own YouTube channel. That's all I'm gonna say to that. I think I'm generally pretty tolerant on my channel, and allows, there's been some comments that I've gotten that have been directed at me or directed at something I've talked about that I thought were very, very disrespectful and just not beneficial. But I've kept them there just for the sake of, until I feel as though they might get maybe offensive, a little too offensive. But for the most part, I usually keep them because I'm like, hey, it's your opinion. You decide to share it, and usually I ask for your opinion. But today, no one asked. Not to offend anyone, sorry, but not today. Yes, like I said, I'm going to try to put lots of resources down for you. And if you guys need anything that I don't put down there, but you would like me to find, since I work in the field, it's a little bit easier for me to find certain services. I'll try my best to help you if you comment down saying you need help with something. Like I said, just remind you, I am one person and I work at a facility. I don't, work for SAMHSA. I don't work for the government agency. I work at one private facility, which I said I'm not going to name here, just out of my own comfort levels. Sorry. Like I said, though, hopefully if you need the links, they're down below. If you, just for my own personal privacy, I just like to keep some things to myself, as well as I just don't see it being super beneficial. I don't know. I'm pretty sure my work would love me to talk about them on here and get that kind of free promotion, but not today. Anyways, we're gonna be wrapping up this voiceover soon. Let me know what you guys think of the build. Let me know if you guys like building spas. When I build spas, I definitely try to make them very unique in my game. And let me know if you guys have had any. If you feel like sharing, if you don't feel like sharing, that's totally fine. If you want to share your recovery story down in the comments, because it is recovery month, I will happily give it a heart. However, do not feel like you have to. It is completely voluntary. So anyways, it was super fun to do this build. I hope you're all doing well and staying safe. Make sure to check down the links in the not the comments, but in the description box in case you need help. And I will see you in the next video. And until then, please, 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 as always, just stay safe and be healthy.